Hello and welcome back to another YouTube video. Today I'm going to be doing a 14.1b support tier list, so if you enjoy our content, like, subscribe, and let's get into it. To begin with, I'm going to start with Fresh. So, Fresh is going to be in my A tier. He's down from the S tier. He's not as performant as last patch, as he lost a decent amount of CDR, which is very valuable for him. People are kind of trolling though. They should be going Trailblazer. It is by far and away the best option for a lot of the melee engaged supports. Alongside that, people should really be looking at Lucidities more often. But in general, he lost a bit of power, so he's going to find himself in the A tier. Senna performing really well with a lot of more lethality options, and with lethality buffed in the early game, it really does help her quite a bit. She is really strong with the likes of Yomu's, Collector. You can go Cycler Sword, that works quite nicely on her. Edge of Night, you pick up a Grudge if you're picking up a lot of lethality, or you can opt into more crit options, something like an RFC, something like an LDR could be the path you go. Overall, just performing quite well at the moment, so finds herself in the S tier. She would be a solid S plus option if there weren't so many hook champs at the moment. Talking about hook champs, Nautilus also not doing too well. Well, not doing too badly, but not as well as last season. Definitely struggling with some of the item options when a lot of other supports did get just buffed this patch. So he's going to find himself in the A tier. Rakan going to be in the S plus tier. They seem to just like keeping Rakan in the S plus tier. He seems to be a very popular champion with a relatively low ban rate for popularity. Even when strong, he holds a relatively low ban rate, so finding him in the S plus tier is where he's most likely going to be. Works really nicely with Trailblazer, really good item on him, so overall doing quite well. Blitzcrank going to be in the S tier. They are nerfing him next patch. He is very much a low elo stomper, but still really good in high elo. You can work him quite nicely into certain matchups, primarily into your enchanters. Senna really struggles into Blitzcrank. One hook can just be the death of her, stuff like that. So yeah, gonna find myself in the S tier. Lux not doing too bad. Doing not well, after the hotfix buff, she's not doing too badly, but definitely not at the power level where she was last season. Luden's Companion is just a weaker item than Luden's Echo from the season before, or Luden's Tempest. So she lost a decent amount of power. Hotfix buff gave her health, armor, and some more AP ratio on the W shield. Not enough. Find herself in the B tier. Milio is going to be in the E tier. Overall, enchanter items are stronger later on into the game. Ardent Censer did get buffed. However, with a lot of the other items being quite strong at the moment, enchanters are taking a decent amount of time to get going. They do find themselves like middle of the pack, so Milio going to be in the A tier. Same goes for Nami, very much paired with Lucian primarily. Imperial Mandate works really well on her. A lot of the enchanters are good Mandate users, and for a lot of the melee champions, obviously Trailblazer works really nicely on her, on them. So yeah, Nami, Mandate, relatively strong with that. Good pairing with Lucian. Pyke not doing too well at the moment, even with the new lethality options. He hasn't really found a great footing within the item meta at the moment. Something like a Yomu still seems to be the best thing to rush on him. However, there are other options there. Umbral Glaive continues to be slightly bait on a lot of champions, but it is also just an option if you need it. Janna going to be in the S plus tier, so Janna performing really well at the moment. Imperial Mandate works wonders on her. Overall, the champion is really good. The W harass, the E shielding, the amount of amplifying she can give, healing, stuff like this, all works really well on her, and she is really strong at the moment. And then Bard. So Bard is going to be the other champion in the S plus tier. Bard performing incredibly well, works really nicely with a lot of the tanky, cheap items. Trailblazer can work well on him. Locket can work well on him. Frozen Heart can work well on him. Lots of options there. Works really nicely at the moment. Lulu, we're going to find herself in the A tier, I believe. Oh no, in the B tier. Lulu not performing as well at the moment. Losing Shirelias as a mythic, I do believe, hurt her a decent amount. I haven't dug too much into Lulu, but she is definitely underperforming slightly, so we're going to find herself in the B tier. Xerath definitely wasn't lost power because of Luden's Tempest being removed, but was one of the people who could use Luden's Companion better, so finding herself in the A tier. Leona, going to be in the S tier. Leona's performing really well at the moment. Lots of tanky options. Provides Leona with great frontline, and her CC lockdown is really nice into a very assassin-heavy meta at the moment, so she works really well. Honestly, I'm going to pair Zyra and Morgana next to each other. Both these champions really strong with Leandries at the moment. Don't care so much about mana. The mana they lost wasn't too important, so they are performing quite well at the moment. Morgana does struggle a bit more with mana, but the support item tends to just lend back back with that. And if you're really struggling, Fairy Charm could be a pickup if you just need a bit more mana. Overall, both these champs performing quite well at the moment. Definitely consider picking them up if you're looking for an AP support. Alistar also performing quite well. Trailblazer, quite a nice item on him. Gives him some frontline access. Gives him some movement speed. Gives him the kind of the stats he wants. Stop going Locket. Alistar wants to be in the front line. You're not going to be playing him that much front to back. If you are into a very heavy dive comp, it is a good option later on. But as a first item rush, just go Trailblazer. It's really good on him. Karma, quite underperforming quite a bit at the moment. Is getting buffed next patch though, so should be in a better spot. Overall, I wouldn't say there's any core defining build she should be going, but Mandate and Malignance do seem to be quite nice on her, so do consider these options. Yuumi going to be in the C tier. Not doing too badly, honestly, like better than last season. Has some more accessible options. Mandate works quite nicely on her. But still not great, so going to be in the C tier. Kind of limited by the pairing she has. It is quite important that you are getting a solid on-hit pairing with Yuumi, otherwise she does struggle a lot more. Soraka going to be in the A tier. Honestly, she's not doing too great at the moment. Compared to like previous seasons, she's in a bit of a rough spot. Moonstone just isn't what it used to be, the one where it gave like a ramping heal and shield power. This one with the chain kind of healing just isn't as much what she wants. She's not as great of an abuser of some of the support items as a lot of the other supports, so she finds herself within the lower part of the A tier. Not a terrible option, but just not as good as a lot of the other options. Rel going to be in the S tier, often stays here. Ever since her rework, she is in a very nice spot. Once again, can use Trailblazer quite nicely. Has really good engage, good CC, can be flex to jungle. There are options there. Maokai, so Maokai's an interesting one. Maokai is incredibly strong at the moment. Problem is, he's just not played enough to really warrant a push into the S+ tier. If he had a larger sample size, I would agree he is a solid S+ tier option. He is a good answer to a lot of champions. If you build him tank, he is incredibly obnoxious as a good frontline option. Good displacement, good teamfight entry, good crowd control. There's most things here, and he's really good. Saplings also provide great vision control and slows, and it makes ganking him really hard. So yeah, Maokai quite strong in that regard. Ashe not performing to the same level as what a lot of people expected. She's definitely more of an elite skewed pick. That tends to be the case with harass and marksman bot lanes. Overall, yeah, just not performing to the level people expected. Mandate, Bloodsong seem to be kind of like the best pairing on her. Umbral Glaive, of course, is usually what you pick up first. But overall, yeah, more of a B2 option. Good in comp, better than elite. Brand going to find himself in the A tier. Also good at abusing Leandri's, just not to the same level as Morgana and Zyra, so he finds himself in the A tier. Braum, really solid answer to a lot of the engage supports at the moment. He is one of the best answers to them. He does struggle a bit more into enchanters. You don't really want to be blinding Braum, but as a counter pick, he's a great option. Consider him a high S+ tier or a high S tier option if you counter pick, and then like a low S tier option if you're playing him into enchanter, which I really wouldn't recommend. Swain, just not performing great at the moment. Definitely struggles a lot more in support role. If you are playing Swain, I'd really recommend playing him ADC. He performs a lot better there. Can abuse a bit more a couple more pairings. Can abuse a bit more income as well. Very nice for Swain. So yeah, gonna find himself at the B tier. Seraphine, once again, player in the ADC role. She performs a lot better there. Overall, can be paired with something like an Ashe if you are playing her support. However, she does take a decent amount of time to come online. Hasn't got great items until like later on, when she gets a bit more access to the heal and shield power, and can really abuse her W's AoE. Yeah, overall, finds herself in the B tier. Would recommend playing her ADC. Sona is in the A tier. One of the better A tier options. She has good AoE heal shield power, which enables her to abuse a lot of the items in the support role at the moment, whether it's Staff, whether it's Ardent, and then you can pick up the Dreamcatcher, I want to call it. I think that's the one. And then the capstone item, which is really good on her, the enchanted one, which I also can't remember the name of at the moment. But yeah, she performs really well with these items. You do want to pick up a tier on her. She works really well with Seraphs, gives her a bit more tankiness, gives her access to a lot more mana, which is all what she wants to allow her to spam spells. I would recommend trying Celerity Swifties if you are playing a lot of Sona. It can work really nicely in some games. Other than that, you can go Lucidities, pick up Transcendence if you're looking to access a bit more CDR. No options there. She's pretty good at the moment. Renata going to be in the A tier. A very popular pick in the competitive scene in Europe. Not doing amazingly in solo queue, but still a solid option. The likes of Locket work really well on her. She was a lot better when she had access to Radiant Virtue, as were a lot of the supports on this list. But doing alright. Pantheon, honestly, doing better than usual in support. Sundered Sky seems to be quite nice as a first option on him. You, of course, can opt into something like an Umbreglaive. People do like Rashojin as a second option. He's alright. Bit underpowered, if anything, because, of course, you want to be able to power early leads, so he's very much skewed towards that. Hui, don't play Hui support. It's not very good at the moment. With the e-buffs, though, I imagine it wouldn't be bad, so do look out for it next patch. For the moment, it's pretty bad. Requires a lot of gold to come online. Quite a complicated champion, and I just wouldn't really recommend playing it in solo queue. Nico going to be in the A tier. Still a solid protobelt user, can work quite nicely as a support. As long as you're getting the disguises down, be able to find those angles, she works well. Zidian going to be in the A tier. So Zidian not. Zidian needs a rework, honestly. Zidian is a bit of an interesting champion because he really just values CDR as his main stat. Like, you want to go Shirelia's Lucidities, and it just feels bad to play this champion. Or at least in my opinion, because he really doesn't have much more of a purpose than just to be a rotational speed and revive bot. His bombs these days, like, unless you're building AP, don't do enough damage to really feel meaningful later on into the game for, like, when you're putting yourself out of position to land them. Of course, the stun is nice, but, yeah, Zidian, in a way of a weird spot. Not doing too badly, of course. Shirelia, Lucidities. You can pick up Archangels if you want. I know Cosmic Drive works quite nicely on him. There is one other item which I can't remember, which works quite nicely as a second slot on him. And then, of course, you can pick up, like, Vigilant Wardstone later on into your build. But yeah, gonna be in the A tier for the moment. Velkor's gonna be in the B tier. Also, not a bad Luden's Companion user, just not as performant as a lot of the other champs at the moment. Doesn't output the level of DPS a lot of the Leandri's users do. So yeah, B tier pick. Shaco, honestly, not performing too badly. AP Shaco is giga obnoxious as a support, and if you really nail the playstyle down, then you can just solo win games as this pick. I've seen it happen a couple of times this season, especially into comps which can't really answer boxes because they're forced to very much walk up to them to break them rather than being able to do it from range. Overall, Shaco support, good option if you're a Shaco enthusiast for play him. I hate this champion. Tarek gonna be in the S tier. Did get hotfix nerfed, but still performing quite well. A lot of the support items got buffed in the amount of armor they had. He doesn't care so much about CDR as a lot of the other supports. So he did get hotfix nerfed. Whereas I put him towards the end, the bottom of the S tier, was close to the S plus tier pre hotfix nerf though. Still a good option if you're looking for something like a Tarek Nyla combo. Teemo performing really well, is getting nerfed again because he's so strong. I imagine his placement in the support role will fall and maybe he'll even get taken off as people hop off this champion. But for the moment, he's still incredibly strong. Find himself in the S tier. Once again, Leandri Malignant's great pairing on him. And Heimerdinger, not doing too great at the moment, is kind of lost in what his identity is, but finds himself in the B tier. Once again, you're looking at Rylai Leandri as his core pairing, but the itemization just isn't as strong this season. He struggles into more things, and yeah, it definitely does hurt him, so finds himself in the B tier. Overall, those are my thoughts on the support tier list. That's Maokai is the main one here, where like this champion could be considered S plus tier. He just needs more games. He might be the strongest support in the patch. But yeah, I'd really recommend giving him a try, seeing how he feels. If you have like a good comfort on him, and then yeah, give it a go. So thank you for watching. I'll see you next one. Goodbye.